Hey, what's up? I'm not sure who is actually awake. It's 10 o'clock Central. I guess it's only 8 o'clock out on the West Coast. And I know a lot of agents that are up pretty late. It's 11 o'clock on the East Coast. But I wanted to come to you tonight and address something. I think you guys know what my mission is and what I'm, serious, why we do what we do, why we do so much marketing. And you know what? It's sad, but 92, I bring it up all the time, 92% of insurance agents fail in the first 3 years. And I think it's a great question to ask is why do we fail? I want to get some feedback from you guys, those that are up. I want to get some feedback. I want you guys to ask some questions, give me some comments, whatever. Because I'm telling you, I personally believe that 92% of agents fail simply because we don't run enough appointments. Whether that comes down to leads, whether it comes down to calls, whether it comes down to actually, running enough appointments, putting in enough work. Maybe human nature is to be lazy or to procrastinate or to not actually, put in the work. My wife's asking me where I'm at. I'm in our own home office. She was probably asleep, but I wanted to bring it up because, it's something I talk about a lot. I think it's something that's important. I think it's something that needs to be addressed because if 10 people pop on the video right now, statistics say that 9 of you won't be here in 3 years. And yeah, it helps to be independent. Yeah, it helps to have multiple carriers. Yeah, it helps to have some good commission. But you know what? I get agents all the time that want to call and negotiate higher commission, and I'll ask them, they may be on a really high commission level and they may not be doing anything. And I'll ask them, hey, how have you done? Well, I haven't sold anything. Well, what is a really high commission level actually doing for you if you're not making any sales? Yeah, we give out extremely competitive, high commissions, fair comp. But at the end of the day, I don't care if you're a part of my agency or if you have your own that you love or if you're captive, or at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. What matters is that you don't fail and that you're actually succeeding and that you're doing what you can to set yourself apart in this industry. Because 92%, it's in the title of this. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. 92% of agents fail in the first 3 years. And I think it's sad. But at the end of the day, I really believe that the single secret ingredient in all of this and the reason agents fail and what sets agents apart that are actually succeeding and the ones that are failing is the fact that the ones that are succeeding are running or actually setting at least 15 appointments week in and week out. And for those that are in our Facebook group, Secure Agent Mentor Group, it's a Facebook group for insurance agents. For those of you that are in our group, I put a question out there earlier, about hey, how amazing of an industry it is and how I love the insurance business and how I'm obsessed. I think it's the greatest career on earth. But I put that, hey, 92% of agents fail, and it's sad and it's unfortunate. But I personally believe that if you don't set 15 appointments week in and week out, and I haven't preached this enough, I'll be honest, I have not preached this enough. If you don't set 15 appointments week in and week out, you will fail. You may not fail today, you may not fail tomorrow, you may not fail next week, next month, next quarter, next year. But I can promise you, if you're not setting 15 appointments week in and week out and you're not consistent with it, at some time in the future, you will fail. And I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. I want to be positive. I want to be the enthusiastic, motivational guy that comes to you guys to help you. But I'm telling you what, I see way too many insurance agents fail. Way too many agents in the insurance business fail week in and week out because they do not see enough people. At the end of the day, it's time to have a gut check, a little heart moment with yourself. If you're setting 15 appointments week in and week out, you will succeed. If you're not setting 15 appointments week in and week out, I can promise you, you will fail at some point in the future. Yeah, it's hard. Yeah, it's not easy. Yeah, everyone can't do it, but you can. Yeah, it might take some effort. Yeah, it may take, you calling 14 hours a week or several days or whatever. But at the end of the day, I can't sleep at night. I can't get excited about the next day, and I don't want to go through a weekend where I don't have any appointments set for the next week. I know that when I was an agent, out in the field every single day. When Monday morning rolled around and I didn't have appointments set, and I walked in and I had 0 appointments ready for the next week, I'm telling you what, I was anxious, it bothered me, it affected me. If you aren't setting 50, and I don't care what you have to do, I don't care if you have to buy 30, 40 leads a week, if you have to call age leads, cold call, work your warm market, work referrals, I don't care what you have to do. If you're not setting 15 appointments week in and week out, you will notice that you won't be consistent. You'll have great weeks, you'll have bad weeks, but the key to this is at least 15 appointments a week and some actual consistency. If the appointments are not there, and you know what, post in the comments, give me your feedback, give me some positive, give me some negative, whatever. I don't care if you hate what I'm saying, if you love what I'm saying, if you have questions about what I'm saying, comment. Let me know your thoughts. I'm telling you what, I personally believe that agents need to set 15 appointments per week. And if you're not setting 15 appointments per week, you will fail. Whether it's today, whether it's tomorrow, whether it's next year, 2 years from now, if you're not consistent, if you're not setting enough appointments, you won't see enough people. And I can promise you, at some point in the future, you will fail. And so I want to be the guy that excites you, that motivates you, but I also want to be the guy that keeps it real, that comes to you at 10 o'clock at night where I live here in Missouri and says, hey, this is what you have to do to succeed. And if you're not doing those things, you will fail. There's tons of people in our industry that will paint this extremely pretty picture and that will tell you about all these huge numbers and will be super positive. But if we're not honest, if we're not keeping it real, if we're not telling you what you need to hear, then at the end of the day, we're doing you a disservice. You know what? Over the past couple of years on YouTube, I've probably been too much of a yes man, and I've realized that. Now, I want to be positive, I want to be motivational, I want to be enthusiastic, I want to be the young dude that's affecting this industry, that gets you jacked up. But I also want to be the dude that is real with you. And that says, hey, if you're sitting there watching this, whether it's 11 o'clock on the East Coast, 10 o'clock Central, 9 o'clock Mountain, or 8 o'clock on the West Coast, I want to be the guy that says, if you're not setting 15 appointments, you will fail. I don't want you to fail. I hate seeing people fail. 92% of agents fail, and it bothers me deep down. It affects me. It's why I think about doing a video at 10 o'clock at night, because I hate seeing people fail. It offends me. It bothers me. It keeps me up at night. I have even my own agents fail sometimes. I've got agents in my office that fail. They don't set 15 appointments. I used to have a motto when I was a new agent that I lived by week in and week out, and that was that I had to see 10 people. Well, to see 10 people, I learned that I had to set 15 appointments. When I set 15 appointments and I actually ran and saw 10 of them, I succeeded. I had great weeks. And so you know what? Week in and week out, all I put focus on at 19, 20 years old in college playing basketball, all I put focus on was seeing the people. Setting 15 appointments and seeing 10. I had great numbers every single week because I saw enough people that the numbers put up the $1,000 to $2,000, $3,000 a week, that I knew that I needed to hit my goal of seeing 10 people a week, making $100,000, making Chairman's Council with Mutual of Omaha at such a young age. I was probably the youngest agent ever to make the top trip with Mutual of Omaha. But you know what? It's because I put up enough numbers to support what I wanted to do. I learned at a young age that for an insurance agent to succeed, you must set 15 appointments. I don't care what you have to do, how many hours you have to call, how much door knocking you got to do, how much warm market you got to call, how many referrals you got to gather, how many leads you got to buy. When you set 15 appointments and you run 10, you succeed. You have very good weeks. I learned that at an early age, and it's still true today. When you set 15 appointments and you run and see 10, you succeed. I don't care what else you do, nothing else matters. When you see 10 people, you sell policies. You succeed. You do well. So there's two tricks to this. To succeeding in the insurance business, there's two secrets. The first one is setting 15 appointments per week. I don't care who you are or what you're doing or where you're at in your career, how much sales experience you have, how much insurance experience you have, how much enthusiasm you have, whether you jump out of bed in the morning and you're excited about this business or not. Number one, you got to set 15 appointments and see 10 week in and week out. You got to set 15 and you got to be consistent. Because it's one thing to set 15 appointments this week and then set 4 next week. That's where the inconsistency happens. That's why a lot of agents feel like that this sales career, this industry is a roller coaster. When you set 15 one week and you don't set 15 the next week, I can promise you that ebb and flow and that roller coaster that we like to call a sales career, that's why agents fail. There's agents that have big weeks, great weeks, big months, big quarters, big years. But when they don't continue the grind and they don't figure out ways to set 15 appointments week in and week out, and they don't do the second part of this equation and they're not consistent with it, they fail. Two things you got to do, and I'm telling you what, you can make $100,000 in this business. You can make $100,000, $200,000, $300,000. I don't care. Year in and year out. And you can achieve everything you want to do. You can have as much money as you want to do. You can take your family on vacation every single year, every 6 months. I don't care what you do. You can buy that new house that your family deserves, that nice car that you deserve to drive. Two things, two secrets. Set 15 appointments and repeat that week in and week out. And I can promise you, I don't care if what age you are, what gender you are, where you're from, your ethnicity, nothing matters. If you set 15 appointments and you do it week in and week out, I can promise you, if you have little insurance experience, you'll learn quick. No sales experience, you'll learn how to sell on the fly. I'm 19, 20 years old in college back then, 7 years ago. I had no clue what I was doing. But when you see 10 people and you run 10 appointments every single week and you ask 10 people to buy every single week, I'm telling you what, product knowledge happens. Sales experience happens. You learn how to build value and rapport with clients. And I'm telling you what, before you know it, $100,000 is easy in this business, but it can't be easy if you don't set 15 and repeat the process week in and week out. There's not enough people in this industry telling you what you need to know, and that is, hey, and I appreciate all the likes, the thumbs up, that's awesome. Number one, set 15. I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to repeat it till I'm no longer on this earth. Set 15 appointments, repeat the process week in and week out. If you do that, you succeed. You make $100,000. You're the top agent in your office. You're the top agent in your company. You're one of the top agents in the country. I love the likes. Set 15, repeat the process. It's not hard. The hard part is getting to 15 set appointments because, yeah, it takes some warm market, it takes some referrals, it takes some leads, it takes buying leads on a weekly basis. It takes a good quality lead. It takes a lot of calling. It takes an appointment setter. It takes an appointment setting company, which we refer agents to an appointment setting company. They get a discount for knowing Secure Agent Mentor and us referring you to an appointment setting company. If you want an appointment setting company, send us an email at support@secureagentmentor.com. We'll refer you to one. At the end of the day, and those that are watching this, that are still watching this, that are joining, that are coming in and out, set 15 and repeat the process. When you set 15 and you're consistent week in and week out, I promise you, you will succeed. It doesn't matter if you're Cody Askins, if you're Bob McDaniel from Texas, from Katy, Texas, it doesn't matter. Bob says, hey, Cody, hey, thanks for, Kobu says, and Bob, go ahead and throw your comment up, buddy, it vanished. The comments are vanishing on me. Let me see if I can get them to show up. They're coming up quick and they're vanishing. So throw those back up if you guys are watching. I'll make sure I actually read those and respond. But I appreciate the comments, appreciate the likes. At the end of the day, if we don't see 15 people if we don't set 15 appointments and see at least 10, we will fail. And you know what? Kovu and Bob, the guys that watch us, Tom, all the Secure Agent Mentor followers and the people that comment, the people that give us likes and that hang out with us. You know what? You guys are exactly why we do what we do. You know what? Not everyone's positive. We get a ton of positive feedback, a ton of positive comments, but you know what? Believe it or not, we get negative stuff too. Yeah, if it's vulgar or crazy, we'll get rid of it. But what's up, Tom? Hey, buddy, dude, you're doing some awesome stuff, Tom. I'm telling you what. I love the videos. I love the social media. I can tell you work it. How many checks do you get to deliver to widows? You know what? Yeah, I've been. It's unfortunate to have to deliver claim checks to policyholders. I've had to do it, but it also makes you feel good. It's not a fortunate thing that we get to do, but it makes you feel good because you've helped them plan and you feel good about what you're doing. Because you know what? No matter where you're at across the nation, when someone doesn't plan, and I've had people that have turned me away, they've said no, and then you know what? Guess the next thing they know, they're passing the hat at the funeral, passing the offering plate or whatever. It does make you feel good to help people plan for their future because we aren't promised tomorrow, and we won't always be here. We just won't. But you know what I love is that we're in a career to where we can control our future. This career is freaking incredible, and we can control our future. If you're just joining us, give us a thumbs up. Let me know you're here. We're in a career to where we can control what happens. We can control what happens in our week. We can control how much money we make. We can control what we do on a day in and day out basis. But at the end of the week, if you didn't set 15 appointments and you didn't repeat the process week in and week out, statistics say that 9 out of 10 of you that are watching won't be here in 3 years. My mission is to change that statistic, is to improve that statistic. And by letting you guys know what's expected and what's possible and what's required to succeed in this business, I think I'm helping. You know, yeah, you know what? We ask people to buy leads occasionally. I'm not too good to, I'm not going to sit here and lie that, you know what, I don't want to make money too, but we put out tons of free content. We do live shows every freaking day. I do videos like this all the time. I'm doing the 100 app challenge just because I got so many questions about, hey, I want to be able to hear you sell on the phone. Now we put recordings up on our website. We put actual telesales audio recordings up on our website. Not for me, because we had so many agents like Bob in Katy, Texas that said, hey, I want to learn how to sell over the phone. Can you help? Yeah, that's why we put a webinar together. That's why we do all the things that we do. Because if my mission is to help agents and you guys have questions and you guys ask stuff and you guys like, hey, I want you to do this, you know what? Because Bob's jacking me up and getting me excited, I'm going to give you guys 3 things real quick. Set 15 appointments. Repeat the process week in and week out. But I'm going to give you the 3 benefits that I use over the phone. I do 5 in person. But here's what I do. Here's how I run an appointment. I'm going to give you a quick synopsis of how Cody runs an in-home appointment and sort of how I run a phone appointment or a telesale. I warm the person up. Building value, building rapport, taking time to warm someone up and actually show them that you care is extremely, extremely important. So the warm-up phase is arguably the most important phase of the entire sale. The second thing I do is I actually fact find. I actually ask questions. I ask those tough questions. And you know what? The first question I start out with, once I move out of the warm-up phase and into the fact-finding stage, part 2, is, hey, thanks for letting me in your home. What got you thinking about this? What got you thinking about all this? Why am I here? I want to get them talking. If the client isn't talking, if we're talking more than the client, and you know I'm right, when we talk more than the client, we don't make sales. When the client talks more than we do, and we get them talking, we get them engaged in the process, we make sales, they get the coverage they need. So that's part 2, fact finding. I want to find out who their beneficiary is, why they're doing this. I want to find out their health. I want to find out what they can afford. I want to figure out what their budget is. I want to feed. How do you plan to pay for this? When do you get your check each month? I want to do so much fact finding that I'm overcoming every objection during the fact finding process. The fact finding process is freaking, Tom, you're right, buddy, it's freaking absolutely imperative. The third part, which I love, which is presenting and closing. And I put the close with the presenting because I don't present without asking someone to make a decision. A presentation without an ask or without a close is a waste of freaking time. And there's certain ways that I ask. And yes, I'm going to tell you what it is right now. The first thing that I do, the third step, is, you got it, Bob. Appreciate it, buddy. You're a good dude, man. The third step, present and close. Yes, I've fact-finded, so I've figured out how much coverage they want, what they can afford, and what I'm actually going to show them. But before I show them, I want to build value. So before I show them the rates, after the fact-finding process, I've got rates ready. I'll write, like, what I'll normally do is, if I know that they need like 10,000, then I'll write like, but I want to find something in their budget. So if I know that their budget's $50 and 10,000's like $60, then what I'll do is, after I've went through part 2 and I'm moving into part 3, presenting and closing, I'm going to go ahead and write 8,000 for $50, 10,000 for $60, and 12,000 for $70 on a sheet of paper. I'm going to find 3 quotes. I'm going to write them on a sheet of paper, but I'm going to do them on the second page. Then I'm going to go back to the first page and say, hey, before we go over pricing, I want to give you the benefits. If it's okay with you, I'd like to go over the benefits of the policies that we sell and the benefits that our clients rave about and they love and that makes them want to do business with us. And so I'll go, okay, the first benefit, and I'll actually write them down. I don't think I have any paper here, but I'll actually write them down. And I'll say, you know what? The first benefit is, and it may be turned around, but the first benefit, Miss Betty, is a coverage lock. Having coverage that is locked in and that won't change, and I'll tell her, hey Betty, a lot of policies will change at 70, 75, 80 years old. You don't want a policy like that because what if you outlive it? It's no longer there. There's a lot of policies out there like that. Ours come with a coverage lock and they last your entire life. Betty, and you got to get feedback. You've got to get the response. Betty, do you like that? Is that important to you? What are they going to say to that? But I'm getting their feedback. I'm getting their interest. I'm getting them to say yes. If I can get them to say yes and make small decisions, when I get to the price, it's easy to get them to buy. Do you like that? Is it important to you? Is that coverage lock? Is that awesome or is that awesome, Betty? Yeah, I like it. Well, what are they going to say? The second benefit, Betty, is a price lock. So that whatever price we agree to today, and I use the words today, that price is locked in for the rest of your life. There's a lot of policies out there, Betty, to where the price goes up every year or every 5 years or at 80 years old. We don't want those. Our policies come with a price lock. Just because you can afford $50 today doesn't mean you can afford $250 down the road. Am I right? So is the price lock important to you? Do you like that? What are they going to say? But you're getting feedback. The third benefit is that our policies, and you know what? If it's not important to them, then I won't add it. But this is a good way to gauge it. The third benefit is that our policies come with they pay double in the event that you were to pass away due to an accident. Yeah, accidents accidents happen every day. Yeah, it's more likely that you'll pass away due to natural causes, but hey, it's an extra benefit. It's nice to know that if it happens, your beneficiaries will receive double. Am I right? Do you like that? Is that important to you? Is that good? We'll get some feedback. Maybe it isn't. The fourth benefit is that our policies build cash value. And Betty, my clients like this because you know what? Yeah, we don't recommend that they take a loan out of their policy, but it's your money, it's there, and in the event that you're, super tight on funds 10 years down the road, it's available. Just the fact that you're mentioning that it builds cash internally makes them realize, hey, this is a whole life, it's not a term. It gets them thinking, it's just added benefits, it's bonuses. Yeah, I don't want them using it, but it's cool. It is. Is that important to you? Do you like that? Do you like the fact that it builds cash and that it doesn't sit there at zero? How are they going to answer that? And that's how you have to ask questions. You have to ask questions and get them to, and if you're just now joining us, give us a thumbs up. The fifth benefit, I say this is the most important one. The fifth benefit of the types of policies that we sell, Betty, is a local agent. And I'll even use this on the phone, a local Missouri company or whatever, a local agent. Betty, having a local agent is super important because in the event that you need to make minor changes, you don't want to have to call a 1-800 number, wait on hold for 50 minutes, talk to a foreign call center, whatever. You want to have someone you can call a local office number or a local cell phone number and say, hey, change my beneficiary, change my address, change my payment mode, whatever, my bank account. We'll handle it. It's easy. We handle it. We take that burden off of you. And I'll tell her, you know what, Betty, even more important than minor changes, when that time comes where Miss Betty is no longer with us, and I'll use their name, where Miss Betty is no longer with us, when your beneficiary, your son Joe, it's time to claim on this policy, and he needs the money to help take care of your burial and final expenses, when that time comes that you're no longer with us, you don't want your son to have to call a 1-800 number, wait on hold for an hour, mail claim forms back and forth, get paperwork notarized. You know what, before you know it, 30, 60, 90 days went by. It's been a huge burden, a huge hassle. You want us as a local agent to take care of that for you. So we lift that burden off of your son's shoulders so there's no hassle. We just take care of it. Is it important to you? Do you like that? How awesome is that? Yeah, I like that. That's awesome. And you know what? What are they going to say? And so after that, after I've got feedback on each one, I'm going to go back and circle around and say, okay, of these 5, is there ones that stand out more than the others? Do you have a favorite? I want to get them to make a decision, to at least agree that they're important, get a favorite out of them, or at least get that they like a few of them, okay? And then I'll say, okay, the cool thing is, Betty, the policy I'm going to show you comes with all 5 of these benefits. It's awesome. It's a whole life, comes with a price lock, the price will never go up, and you get me as the local agent. So, and then I'll go to that next page where I've already written down prices on that next page. Remember, we talked about $8,000 for $50, $10,000 for $60, or $12,000 for $70. Betty, we've got, and they come with all those benefits. It comes with me, it comes with a whole life, it's going to last your whole life, it comes with a price lock. We've got $8,000 for $50, $10,000 for $60, or $12,000 for $70. Now, which of these 3, here's the close. It's an easy, non-threatening close. Yeah, I've got tons of closes I can use if I need to, but this is the one I start with. Of these 3, Betty, which are you, phrase it like it's for them, because it is, and so we don't seem conceited like we're trying to sell them something. Betty, of these 3, which are you most comfortable with? Which one are you most comfortable with? And I would say about 80 to 90% of the time, when I warm up well and I fact find well and I go through my benefits presentation, the one that we just talked about, and then I show them the prices, 80 to 90% of the time, they actually choose. And they'll say, well, I'm actually most comfortable, and what's funny is about 60 to 80% of the time they'll actually choose the one in the middle, no matter what it is. I've actually played with that and put the most expensive one in the middle, and sometimes it still works, believe it or not. It's just a psychology, pick the one in the middle. And she'll say, you know what, I'm most comfortable with the one in the middle, the 10,000 for 60. Okay, great. Let's see if we can get you approved, okay? So Betty, what's your full legal name? So I've got the rates ready before I move into the presentation, the benefits presentation. And I've got the application ready so that I'm immediately moving into, okay, here's the benefits. Which of these 3 are you most comfortable with? They choose, pull out the application. Okay, great. Let's see if we can get you approved. Betty, what's your full legal name? And I'm immediately moving into the application, asking the application questions, asking health questions, doing the phone interview, gathering bank account, all that. And so that's how, and I do almost everything very similar also over the phone when I'm making sales over the phone. I don't do all 5 benefits. When I'm doing telesales, I only do 3. When I do in-person sales, I do 5 because I can get away with 5 because they can see them. But over the phone, they can't see them, so you don't want to overload them with information over the phone. If you give them too much information over the phone, they won't make a decision. I can overcome that in person a lot easier than I can over the phone. The 3 that I use over the phone is coverage lock, price lock, and local company, local agent, Missouri, whatever. Those are the 3 that they like the best when I'm teleselling. But that's what I do. So that kind of gives you guys some added value. So again, we're already at 30 minutes. The 2 things that I told you, the 2 secrets to success in this business. Number 1, set 15 appointments. Not hard. And number 2, and I think it's probably backwards for you guys. I know it is because I'm using the front camera. But you can hear me. Do it weekly, week in and week out. When you see 15 people, when you set 15 appointments and you do it week in and week out, you've got a much, much, much better chance of success. If you haven't liked this video, please give me a thumbs up. If you got any final questions or comments, please put them below. Anything about my presentation, whatever. Anything. Oh, and then I didn't mention the 4th step. I have 4 steps. Warm up, fact find, present and close, wrap up and cool down. Make sure they're comfortable with their decision. Are you happy with your decision? Do you see value in what we've done here today? Who else would you like to, who else do you know that needs to, that could also see value in this or that needs help with this? Ask for referrals. And then cool down off of business. Don't be the guy that just sells them something and then immediately leaves and runs to the next appointment. I got to where if you build a relationship with the client and you spend some time at the end of the call before you leave, hey, do you have any, do you know how the weather's supposed to be the rest of the week? Do you have any important plans the rest of the week, the weekend, whatever? Once you get to that 4th step of the appointment process, and if you're just now joining us, make sure you go back and watch this video. I've given out tons of sick nuggets in this. Once you get to that 4th step, and you're actually wrapping up and cooling down and coming off of business, that actually helps the client. They feel like, hey, this guy cares about me. He's in this for the long haul, and he's not just here to sell me something. I'm drinking out of my Cowboys cup tonight, too. I'm a huge Cowboys fan. For those agents that are around Dallas, I'd love to meet you. I'd love to take you to lunch, whatever. I'll actually be down in Dallas week 9 of the NFL season here in 2 weeks. The moral of this video, set 15 appointments week in and week out and do it every single week. You do those 2 things, I don't care who you're with, how much insurance experience you have, how much sales experience you have, where you're at in the country, what company you're with, who you're selling, you set what you're selling, you set 15 appointments, and you repeat the process week in and week out, you will succeed. 92% of agents fail because they don't do step number 1, or they don't do step number 2. They do step number 1 occasionally, but they can't be consistent enough with it. And I tell you what, we've probably had, 50 agents join this on and off throughout this 30 minutes, 50 or 100 agents, whatever. I'm here to tell you, I would say of the 50, let's just say 100 agents have seen this video over the last 35 minutes. I bet 90 to 95 of those agents aren't setting 15 appointments week in and week out. Which is why 92% of agents fail in their first 3 years. Make sure you do step 1 and step 2. Make sure you use my benefits presentation, my full 4 steps to running an appointment. Make sure you check out our leads. Make sure you subscribe. And make sure you give us a thumbs up. I don't think we do get the, believe it or not, we do get the occasional thumb down. Before I wrap it up and head to bed, it's 10:30. Tuesday night, I gotta do some travel. Do a little travel trip tomorrow. We gotta do a lot of driving. Any final questions or comments before I head back? And I'll probably jump on my laptop or jump on our Secure Agent Mentor group or our Facebook. Make sure you're in our Facebook group, Secure Agent Mentor group. Any final thoughts? Good night, and thank you to everybody that's been watching this and hanging out with me for the last 35 minutes and 18 seconds, 19, 20 seconds. All right, thanks for watching. Have an awesome night. Set 15 appointments, and I promise you, you will succeed. Thanks, guys. We love you guys. We appreciate you joining. Thanks for all your support. You guys are awesome.